Alright, welcome to today's video where we're going to try and become the best team in the NFL, but we cannot have any superstars or X Factors on our roster. So how this is going to work is as soon as we get anything over star dev, we have to trade or cut them as soon as possible. So let's see if we can take a team of only good players all the way to a Super Bowl, and we will be using the Giants for this rebuild. All right, so looking at our roster, we have Russell Wilson, who I'm going to start for this first year because that's what I think they're going to do in real life. And then we'll probably start Jackson Dart. Running backs, Tyron Tracy, Devin Singletary, and Cam Scatterbo. They're all fine. Probably going to try and get a better one. I am worried about Malik Neighbors because I expect him to be really good. So I think he will get superstar, so we'll probably have to trade him. But Darius Slayton, Wandale Robinson should be good for now. Offensive line, we can fix the right side, but Andrew Thomas, John Runyon, decent O line, no good tight ends really. And then defensively is where it really have it. You know, we got a young Abdul Carter, Kayvon Thibodeau, Paulson Adebo, Javon Holland. But sadly, before we actually start, we have to trade away Brian Burns and Dexter Lawrence. So let's try and find a trade package for those two people before we can actually get into this rebuild. I'm going to try and be realistic here. I'm not going to try and do too much, but I do know we need a right tackle, we need running back, we need offensive line, we need tight end, we need to replace these guys as well. All right, so we've got the trade here. So we're trading Brian Burns and a fourth from this year to the Seattle Seahawks for Abraham Lucas, Uchenna Nwosu, a second, and a seventh. So that's going to fix our offensive line spot at right tackle for hopefully a while. And then also we're replacing Brian Burns with somebody not as good, but still somebody who will probably get us good sack production. And then, of course, a second, and then just a seventh just for extras. But now we got the big guy. And I'm trying to be realistic, not really to the team, because I know Seattle wouldn't trade for Brian Burns because they just got DeMarcus Lawrence. But I'm trying to be like realistic with like what we can get back. All right, and for Dexter Lawrence, we're going to trade Dexter Lawrence to the Buffalo Bills, and we're going to get Greg Rousseau, who will be very good replacing Dexter. And then we're also going to get Dawson Knox and another second round pick. So we should have 3 second round picks. And defensively, we fill the holes. So we get Abdul and Greg on the edges, and then we get Uchenna Nwosu at outside linebackers. So I'm not mad. I still like the team. And of course, this is the first year of a rebuild, so I'm not trying to be super good. But also, Dawson Knox and Abe Lucas makes our offense look a lot better. So we're going to sim to the midseason, and we're going to see where this team has us at. All right, so at the midseason, we are 2-5, and let's see what Malik Neighbors has, because I want to just make sure that he doesn't get it right away. And of course, Malik Neighbors does get superstar. Andrew Thomas is hurt. Looking at this defense, no superstars there, so that's nice. All star devs, perfect. But let's go ahead and before we trade away Malik, let's look at the stats. All right, Russell Wilson, 1,300 yards, 7 touchdowns, 8 picks, so he's not playing well. Tyron Tracy, 5 touchdowns, but he's averaging 3.4 a carry, so he's not doing well. Devin Singletary is averaging 3.2, so neither of our running backs are doing good. Not too many yards either. Receiving 300 for Malik Neighbors, Wandale Robinson, and Darius Slayton, while 3 touchdowns go to Wandale, 1 for Darius, 2 for Dawson Knox, and then 1 touchdown in the air for Tyron Tracy. All right, so not great blocking, 5, 3, 1, 1, 1. So it's not great at the midseason, but it'll be fine. Tackling, Bobby Okereke leads us. TFL, 6 from Micah McFadden and 4 from Tavon Thibodeau. Greg Rousseau at the midseason has 7.5 sacks. Abdul with 2.5, and then 2 for Kayvon Thibodeau and Roy Robertson Harris. And we have 1 pick from Paulson Adebo. So solid defensively. Obviously, the offense isn't great. I think we're just going to leave everything how it is, and we're just going to finish off the year like this. But first, I'm going to find a trade for Malik Neighbors, and then we can get to the playoffs. So you will see what the trade is, and then we'll get to the end of the year. All right, so what we're doing is we are trading Malik Neighbors to the Las Vegas Raiders for a third-round pick and Jackson Powers Johnson. So that should make our offensive line very good, especially once next year we get Andrew Thomas back. We have a built-up offensive line right now, and I really like it. Along with our tight ends is improved. Wide receivers, obviously not as good without Malik, but still good enough. And then defensively, of course, Kayvon Thibodeau, who is playing great, and then a lot of very good pieces. All right, so let's get to the playoffs, and we'll see if we make it. I doubt it. I'm hoping we get a good pick, but let's see where we land. All right, so at the end of the year, we end up going 4-13, so we are going to have a good pick here. Let's just look at the stats, see what we want to do with all these players. Russell Wilson, 34, 22, and 19, so not great. He'll definitely not be our starter next year, though. Devin Singletary, 3.4 carry, same for Tyron Tracy, and then 5 for each of them. 500 yards for Devin and 402 for Tyrone. Receiving, Darius Slayton had exactly 1,000 yards and 5 touchdowns. Wan'Dale Robinson was 740 and 3, and then Dawson Knox 551 and 2. And then for Zach Pascal, 10 touchdowns on 518 yards. All right, sack wise, it got a lot better. Not that many sacks. Defensively, 127 tackles from Bobby Okereke and 105 from Micah McFadden. 14 TFLs for Roy Robertson Harris, 10 for Micah McFadden and Kayvon Thibodeau. Sack-wise, 14 for Greg Rousseau, 5 for Kayvon, 4.5 for Abdul, 3 for Roy, 1 sack out of Micah McFadden, Uchenna Nwosu, and then half for Darius Alexander, Drew Phillips, and Cordero Flott. Picks, we get 2 from Kayvon Thibodeau, Bobby Okereke, and Paulson Adebo, and then 1 from Micah McFadden, Cordero Flott, Deontay Banks, Tyler Newman, and Javon Holland. Kayvon Thibodeau was very good for us. 75 tackles, 10 TFLs, 5 sacks, 2 picks, 2 pass deflections. He was probably our defensive MVP, so hopefully he didn't get superstar dev, which isn't something normally being said. Usually you want them to get that. But let's just get to the offseason and try and build this team up. So to end the year, my Seahawks lose in the Super Bowl to the Patriots 35-31, and Robert Spillane is going to win Super Bowl MVP. And for re-signings, we have negative $28 million. So we're going to accept Kayvon's fifth-year option. We won't accept Evan Neal, and we can't bring anybody back. Okay. I think that's from the cap hits from cutting those guys. I didn't even think about that when making this video. But let's just get past free agency. So I'll just go straight to the draft, and then we'll just do that because we don't have any money anyway. All right, so in the draft, we have round 1, pick 3. And so we need guard, we need a running back, and then defensively, we need some linebackers. But besides that, we should be set. This got A run block finesse, B pass block finesse, B lead block. Yeah, with the third pick, we're gonna take this left tackle, ranked 40 in true value, normal dev. Okay, so we're probably gonna put him at guard. Is why I did that because I want to put somebody else at guard. I wish he had star dev so that he would develop more. But in the second round, we can look for more running backs and skill positions. So here's Carlos McCall with B, ball carrier vision, break tackle, and carrying. He's 5'9", elusive back, elite excel, great agility, B pass block. A lot of Bs. We have a lot of second round picks, so I'm going to take him here. In this draft, we get the number 2 ranked player in the class, a running back, Carlos McCall out of Michigan State. 5'9", 211, 91 speed, hidden dev. I'm scared that that's superstar, so I might draft another running back just in case. I don't know if that'd be dumb or not, but I'll think about it. We're going to go Darren Sloan. We're going to go the right guard because now our offensive line is completely filled out. Ranked 47, got him at 56. A run block finesse, lead block, pass block finesse. He almost looks better than 47. Like I would have thought he'd be a little higher. With our last second round pick, we are going to take this tight end because we know that he is a round 1 to 2 talent and he's a run blocking tight end. So he should just be a good blocker behind Dawson Knox, who will be our pass catcher. And he is ranked 49. We got him at 56. Hidden dev, 6'6", 247. He's a big guy with a lot of A's on that too. All right, now in the third round, now that we have our offense completely filled out, I want to take a look at linebackers so that we can fill out those because Uchenna Nwosu went down to normal dev. And DJ Randall, elite excel, agility, change of direction, great jumping, and great speed. Ran a 4.640. A awareness, catching, stamina, zone coverage, B hit power. and he's a pass coverage guy. So we are going to for sure take this guy. Ranked 25, got him at 67, hidden dev, 6 foot 230 out of Florida, DJ Randall. I'm not gonna lie, trading away all these superstars might be a little overpowered because we are getting a lot of picks. And honestly, I just got a little lucky with my scouting because we are finding a lot of very good players in this draft. We're gonna go Buchanan because he's still around 3 to 4 talent, elite speed, great jumping, elite excel. So he's fast, a finesse, and a tackle, a speed rusher from the interior, and he will be very good in between Greg Rousseau and our other guy. So he's ranked 89, got him at 69, but he is also hidden dev. So that will be the last pick we're going to make here. I'm not usually going to go past the third round, but let's see what overall these guys are because this was a very good draft. All right, so with our first pick, we got a 74 overall left tackle. The running back was a 78, so not a very strong draft class. Being a 78 at third, I would expect him to be at least an 80 overall. But then the right guard and tight end were both 73s, and then that DJ Randall was a 74 overall, while Jaleel Buchanan was a 71, and then the CPU, of course, got us some 60s. So let's look at this roster, put it how we want, and then we can get to the midseason. Hopefully do better than this year. I'd like to do better because now we have a good team. And also, we will be starting Jackson Dart 100% this year. But I really like the way that we've made this team. I didn't realize we needed a receiver so bad, but Zach Pascal did very good for us, so we'll just hope that he can replicate that season. And defensively, we are very stacked. Greg Rousseau, I'm scared he's going to get superstar, but if he does, it's fine. Trade him too. Obviously, that's the whole point of this. But let's get to the midseason and see how good of a team this can be with Jackson Dart now being our starting quarterback. All right, so at the midseason, we are 0-7. So, I mean, we'll go over the stats real quick, but I'm assuming it's not going to be good. Yeah, Jackson Dart, 1,300 yards, 3 touchdowns to 8 picks, completing 55% of his throws. Running. All right, well, maybe the depth chart's messed up because Carlos McCall should be starting, but it's still Tyron Tracy, who has 3.6 per carry and 2 touchdowns. Receiving, not great. Blocking, our tackles are not very good. I'm going to leave them just to see, but they're not doing great, so I might just trade one of them anyway or try and replace them. The other ones are doing good. Evan Neal, 1 sack on 66 snaps. That's why he's a bench player. Defensively, Bobby Okereke leads us in tackles. 7 TFLs for Thibodeau, 6 for Rousseau, and 5 for that D tackle we drafted, Jaleel Buchanan. And then sacks is 8 from Greg Rousseau, 2.5 from Abdul, 2 from Darius Alexander, and then 1 from Kayvon, Bobby Okereke, and half a sack from Jordan Riley. And we have 2 picks from Paulson Adebo. So right now we are not doing good. We can check to see if we have any superstars. I highly doubt anybody got that dub up. But then we're just going to get right to the off season because obviously 0-7 is not going to lead to the most we could probably win is 10-7. That's just not going to happen. Offensively, defensively. All right, so no superstars. That's good and bad. But yeah, let's just get right to the off season. But let's just get right to the playoffs. We're obviously not going to make it, but let's just go right to them. All right, so in the playoffs, we don't make the playoffs, of course, and we end up going 3-14 stats wise. I think they probably stepped up a little bit. Yeah, okay, so Jackson Dart did step up a lot in the second half, 3,200 yards, 16 touchdowns to 14 picks with a 60% completion rate. So all his numbers got better. If he played that bad again, I was not going to start him next year. Carlos McCall, as a rookie, didn't get all the snaps because I didn't do the depth chart right, but averaged 3.4, 9 touchdowns. We'll start him again next year unless we find somebody better. Receiving, almost 1,000 yards for Wan'Dale Robinson, 4 touchdowns. Jalen Hyatt, 803, 570, and 4 for Bryce Ford Wheaton. And then Dawson Knox with 529 and 3. Blocking, Andrew Thomas wasn't great. Our rookie Ventries Dubose. I don't know how to say that. Wasn't great either. He was pretty bad actually. Jackson Powers Johnson was also pretty bad. Not, I mean, looking at all these, not a good year for blocking. And we have a good O line overall wise, so we'll just try and get that better. Tackling, Bobby Okereke still leads us. TFLs 11 for Thibodeau, 9 for Jaleel Buchanan, and 8 for Rousseau. Sacks 16.5 from Greg Rousseau, 7 from Abdul, 4.5 from Kayvon Thibodeau. Then we have 3 from Darius Alexander and 2 from Micah McFadden and Bobby Okereke. And then interceptions, Paulson Adebo with 4, so that's good. And then we have 1 for Micah McFadden, Bobby Okereke, Deontay Banks, Javon Holland, and Tyler Nubin. So that's pretty good. Of course, we go 3-14, so it's not a good year. Not bad stats, got better in the second half. So we'll hope that next year we can step up more. But let's get to the offseason and see who we have to sign. So in this year, Patrick Mahomes Super Bowl MVP and the Chiefs win the Super Bowl 24-16 over the Falcons. I didn't think to see them there, and then Brock Purdy is going to win MVP. But to negotiate, we have to re-sign Greg Rousseau, Wandale, Deontay Banks. We're accepting his 5th year. Cordero Flott, Jackson Dart, Abe Lucas, Micah McFadden, Evan Neal. All right, so there's a lot of good people in our thing. We have 144 mil. So let's start with Greg. I'll go player friendly. And he does come back, so that's huge. I'm hoping he doesn't get superstar because I don't want to lose him and take that big cap hit. Wandale Robinson doesn't want to come back, but I'll try. No? Okay, that's fine. And then we won't bring Cordero Flott back because we have plenty of corners. And how much does Jackson Dart want? I mean, I'll give him a 3-year because he didn't do great, but I still want him to be our QB of the future. But let's get to this free agency, and we have a good amount of money with $83 million. So hopefully it's a good free agency, and we'll see how many start-out players we can get. I'm not a big fan of Tyron Tracy, so I'm going to go for Keaton Mitchell to be our backup running back. I like him a lot more. He's a lot faster, younger, I think. Obviously, our offensive line isn't great, so I'm also going to go for Donovan Jackson. I know he's a rookie, but still, we need depth there too, so I'd like to get him. And besides those, we'll go for Odafe Owe. We'll put him at middle linebacker because he'll be a good backup middle linebacker for us if we can manage to get him. I'll give him a player-friendly deal. And we're not... Oh, okay, we are leading. My bad. I forgot what team we were for a second there. I don't really want to do too much else because there's nothing else we really need. So I think we're just going to leave it at that. All right, so we get all 3. So we get Odafe Owe, Keaton Mitchell, and Donovan Jackson. So we get that backup running back. We get another middle linebacker, and we get another backup guard. So in this draft, it's really just best player available. All right, so as expected, we have pick 1 in this draft because we only won 3 games. All right, so he's not a top 5 talent or him. So let's look at all these talents and see if there's anybody worth taking up here, really. I know it's not the best value to take these guys at 1, but I always just want to take one of them. Let's look at maybe this guy, Paul Cummings. Okay. Great speed, elite, great, good. A tackle, awareness, and then B finesse move. He has a speed rusher with great speed. Yeah, I mean, I looked at other guys. I paused the draft, but we're going to take Paul Cummings, not just because of his name. He is ranked 22 hidden dev, and we took him at number 1 overall, but I'm not mad. We're going to put him at D tackle. I know it wasn't like the best value, but he was just the best looking guy, and I'm not mad at a round 1 talent guy. Alright, so I found a receiver that's a round 2 to 3 talent, but he's a round 3 to 4 projection. He doesn't look very good, but like this isn't a very strong looking class, so we're just gonna take him. We know he'll be solid, ranked 51, got him at 33, normal dev, so that sucks, but we just need receiver depth. So we'll probably take another one with our 3rd round pick too, even though they don't look very good, but we'll see. And then I just realized that Odafe Owe is a very pass rush guy. So we're going to take Alex Sheldon, an actual middle linebacker, and we're going to keep him there. So hopefully he's good. Round 2 to 3 projection. Ranked 115, normal dev. So I'm not sure what we're going to do with him, but that's going to be this draft. Not nearly as good as the last one. but we didn't have anybody to trade away. Also, not a very good looking draft class, if I'm being honest. So we'll look at their overalls and then we'll get back into it. All right, so in this draft, Paul Cummings is a 73 overall at D tackle. He was a 74 at edge, but we're moving him to interior. And then Joe Jones, the receiver, is a 73, so he'll probably be our second guy. And then the middle linebacker was a 69, so not a good pick. But then the CPU got us a 69 and 70 receiver, so that's more depth. And then a defensive end and a free safety. All right, so this year we're still starting Jackson Dart, McCall, and Keaton Mitchell in the backfield. The right side of our offensive line isn't great. Dawson Knox still, we do need receivers next year 100%. I didn't even realize or remember. Still, pass rush should be very good. A lot of depth and a lot of guys. Same with the secondary, a lot of good guys and a lot of depth here. And then middle linebacker, a little sketchy with Sheldon, but hopefully he can do good as a rookie. So we're just going to take this right to the midseason. I don't expect much to happen, but we'll see. All right, so a little better here. We are 3-3 at the midseason, so not great again, but better. So let's check the stats and let's see if Jackson Dart is doing better this time. Uh, all right, so 1,100 yards, 6 touchdowns, 6 picks, 60% completion percentage. I see he only has 8 sacks, so our offensive line is holding up a lot better. Less yards, more touchdowns, less picks, I believe. So that's good. And I do know that we don't have the best around him. Like Carlos McCall, who is so highly ranked in the class, isn't performing very well. Like here, he's averaging 3.4 and 2 touchdowns. And then Keaton Mitchell is averaging 2.9 on 13 attempts. And receiving, I mean, yeah, we have Jalen Hyatt, Bryce Ford Wheaton, and Joe Jones. Jalen Hyatt does have 3 touchdowns. And Dawson Knox has a touchdown with 200 yards. And blocking, of course, both of our left tackles, Van Treese and Andrew, have allowed 3 sacks. So not bad, but not necessarily good. And then 2 for John Runyon, which is pretty good. Bobby Okereke still leading us in tackles. We'll see how long that lasts. 7 TFLs for Greg, 6 for Kayvon, and 5 for Jaleel. Sacks, we have 7 sacks from Greg Rousseau, 2.5 from Odafeowe, 2 from Paul, 1.5 from Jaleel Buchanan and DJ Randall, along with 1 sack from Bobby Okereke and half a sack from Alex, somebody. And then a pick from Alex Sheldon. Oh, that's the linebacker that we drafted in the third. Now I remember. So yeah, not great. So let's just well, first let's check if we have any superstars. I highly doubt it, but just in case. None offensively, and defensively, none. All right, well, that's not great, but we'll see. So let's just get right to the playoffs now because there's not much to do here. All right, so at the end of the year, we are 6-11, not great again. It's hard. I didn't think it would be this hard, but it's hard to build a team with no superstars because when they have those dev traits, obviously they progress better. So we're just not getting the progression that we need because we have to get rid of all those guys. Saying that, Jackson Dart 3,400, 20 touchdowns and 17 picks on 63% of his on 63% pass completion percentage. Rushing, Carlos McCall not doing great, 860 yards, 10 touchdowns, but 3.6 a carry. That's just not what we need. Receiving, Bryce has 830 and 7. Jalen Hyatt 780 and 5. Joe Jones 750 and 1. Then Dawson Knox has us 560 yards and 4 touchdowns. So that's pretty good. Blocking, let's try and trade Andrew Thomas because he's let up 10 sacks. Ventrese Dubose 7 sacks, but John Runyon, Jackson Powers Johnson, Donovan Jackson, Darren Sloan had a lot of snaps, didn't allow a sack. So the interior is pretty good. We just need to switch out our tackles, really. Bobby Okereke is still leading our team in tackles. Don't know how much longer that's going to last. We have 14 TFLs from Greg Rousseau, 11 for Jaleel, and then 7 for Kayvon Thibodeau. Sacks, 14.5 for Greg Rousseau, 5 for Odafeowe, 4.5 for DJ Randall and Jaleel Buchanan, 3.5 for Paul Cummings, and then 3 for Bobby Okereke, and then a couple for Kayvon, Darius Alexander, Tyler Newman, Alex Sheldon, and Drew Phillips. Picks, pretty good. Bobby Okereke with 3, 2 for Paulson Adebo, and then 1 for Tyler Newman, Alex Sheldon, Drew Phillips, Siobhan Holland, and Deontay Banks. So right now, Bobby Okereke is doing good, leading our lead in tackles, 4 TFLs, 3 sacks, 3 picks, 9 pass deflections, and a forced fumble. He might be up there for Defensive Player of the Year, honestly. He's being very good for us. But with all that, we still obviously didn't make the playoffs, so let's just get to the off season and see what we can do with our players and see if we have any superstars to trade away. All right, so in the off season, we have 156 million, 136, my bad. But we do have 18 players to re-sign. So I'm sure this defense and honestly, this whole team is going to look very different. I'll give him. I'm so okay with that. And then Javon Holland, I want back, obviously. I'll just give him that. So he's not going to come back. So we need a safety, unless we just get him back in free agency. Abdul, I still want you back. I would love to have you back. Also, no. Okay, wow. Kayvon, please, somebody. Okay, so we get Kayvon back. But besides that, Dawson Knox, I want him back. He's been a good tight end for us. That's all that I care about. Bobby Okereke, he's been good, but I'm going to let him go. And I'm going to go ahead and let all these guys go. But I have big plans to blow this team up. Like, I have some plans and ideas. So let's just get to free agency. Look at our roster. Forgot to check for superstars. But here, I have a lot of stuff I want to do. So I'm trading away Andrew Thomas, and I want to get a new quarterback. So I might trade Andrew Thomas and Jackson Dart as a package for a quarterback, probably a tackle, maybe a receiver. I don't really want picks from them, but defensively, let's look at them. Okay, so Greg Rousseau is a superstar. Okay, so we need safety. We could probably just put Deontay Banks at safety. Yeah, we'll put him at safety because he's our third quarter anyway. So put him down. We need middle linebacker and D line still. So let's start with Andrew Thomas and Jackson Dart. Actually, first I'm going to look at the free agency. So let's check that out first. Sign what we need, and then we can make trades. Okay, so in this free agency, Saquon Barkley at an 89 overall is still here. George Karlaftis, also star dev along with Saquon. Ronnie Stanley, superstar. But I mean, if you look at this, like there's wow, this is exactly what we needed. A bunch of good players with star dev and not much more. So I'm gonna go through this. I'll show you who I'm targeting, and then of course who we get. So I'll be back in a minute. All right, so for our first set of free agents, we're going for George Karlaftis. He's obviously probably not going to sign. But besides that, Quinshaw Judkins, Stephon Diggs, Abdul Carter trying to get him back, and then Kayshon Boutte. So that would give us two good receivers, get Abdul back, and get another running back to replace the other guy because I'm probably going to cut him to save money, and we'll get Quinshaw to be our starter instead. So let's see who we get out of these five, and hope we get all of them. All right, so we get Abdul, and we get Kayshon Boutte. Quinshaw gets a lot more better offers, and Stephon Diggs also gets an offer from Seattle, but he doesn't sign either. So what we're going to do is we're going to trade out Quinshaw for Saquon Barkley and try and get him instead and bring him back to New York. And we do. So we get Saquon Barkley, Stephon Diggs, Abdul Carter back, and Kayshon Boutte. So that should be mainly what we do. I might try and get a safety or something, but I don't think there's going to be any good ones left anyway. All right, so now back at this. We're still trading Andrew Thomas and Jackson Dart. So now we got a new running back. We got good receivers for whoever we get. So this is a lot better offense for the quarterback we get. But we still need to trade Greg Rousseau, and we still need a good amount of things, plus the draft. So hopefully we get good picks from this, because he's 27, superstar dev, 91 overall. We should get a lot of value. So I'll be right back, and I'll show you all the trade package. All right, so the trade we're making with Greg Rousseau is Greg, a fourth from 2029, and a seventh from 2029 for George Loftus and Quan Martin. So we fill our free safety spot. We replace Greg with the guy we wanted in free agency anyway. We do lose a couple picks in the process, but that's okay. All right, so now let's make this Andrew Thomas trade. All right, so now let's try and get this Andrew Thomas and Jackson Dart trade going. I want a quarterback, obviously, and I was thinking, and I was like, who would have a good start of quarterback? And I was thinking, and I was like, the Patriots have to. I don't. Yeah, Drake May is a star dev quarterback, so we're gonna try and make a trade out of this. I'm gonna try and get a little more, but I'll show you what I get. All right, so what we ended up doing is instead of trading Jackson Dart 2, we're just going to keep him at quarterback. There's no good other options that are worth what I have to give up for them. So we're just trading Andrew Thomas straight up for Olu Fashanu and a third. So that replaced the third that we lost earlier. I think we lost a third earlier, but either way, that replaces our left tackle. Olu should be a lot better, and we still have Jackson Dart because I wanted to give him a year with all these good weapons around him. Hopefully, our right tackle can perform well. Obviously, we should still have a good pass rush. We need middle linebacker, and Quan Martin fills that safety spot. So we should be okay to go best available besides middle linebacker. That's all we really need. So let's just get straight to the draft and fill out the rest of this, and hopefully Saquon Barkley back in New York can help us go get a ring. All right, so in this draft, we have round 1, pick 7. So let's look at these guys. Hope that we can find a good person to fill out some of our roster more. A lot of decent talents here. A lot of first to seconds. We do need offensive line right now. We could go right tackle here. I do want to check out middle linebackers real quick. So I'll just show y'all what I pick in a second. All right, so Cam Griffin is a round 3 to 4 projection, but a round 1 talent. So we are going to take that right tackle that I saw at the beginning, and then next round we're not going to risk it. We're gonna get Cam Griffin, and we're gonna take him, and we're gonna make him our guy. And I'll go this pass protector. I'll go Ty Ferguson, a pass block. We really want to protect Jackson Dart because I think he can be really good. All right, so we got him at 7. He's ranked 47th in the class. Hidden dev, that's all we need. All right, so this is what I said I was going to do. I'm taking Cam Griffin here in round 2. I know I could have gotten him next round. Oh, ranked 15. We get him at 39. Hidden depth. So he is going to be our linebacker, and he should be very good for a while, too. And now we get to the 3rd round, the pick we got for Andrew Thomas, I believe, with the Olu trade. And here, Dexter Stevenson is a deep threat 6'1", round 2 to 3 projection, but a round 1 to 2 talent at receiver, elite excel and agility, a kick return, spec catch, deep route, and run block. So yeah, we're going to take him. Good blocker, pretty good at receiving. So he's ranked 29, and we get him at 71. So he is hidden dev, 92 speed, 96 excel. So that's very good. I really like our offense now, and I think we have a lot of good pieces, and we still have another pick in this round. And I think what we'll do is let's go back to linebacker because I think there was another good one. Yeah, there's a day 3 linebacker that's a round 2 to 3 talent. Not going to look too hard. We're just going to take him. Rank 53, got him at 83. Normal dev, 87 speed. That's all right. He looks pretty good. He'll be our backup most likely. So that, yeah. All right, so round 1, Ty Ferguson at right tackle is a 74. The linebacker is a 75. Dexter, the wide receiver, is a 74, and then the other linebacker is a 73, and then the CPU went out and got us a 70 corner. So overall, I really like that draft, and I think that fills out our roster very well. All right, so this roster looks very good. We're going to start Ty Ferguson there. Wide receiver, Dexter is going to be our 3rd receiver. Probably put him in the slot if I remember because he's very fast. Start Paul, and then, of course, the rookie linebacking duo. There's the corner that they drafted us. Good thing they got him. I didn't realize our corner depth was bad. So, yeah, I mean, I really like this. We should honestly be good enough to start making a push. And I'm also going to change our scheme because there's guys that I would rather get involved than others, too. So I'm going to change those, and then we will get to the midseason and hope that we are doing a lot better. All right, so this midseason, we are 3-4. So right in the middle, probably going to be 10-7, 9-8-ish. I thought we were going to be better. I'm not going to lie. I was hoping we were going to be better. Ooh, Jackson Dart. Okay, so we just needed to surround him well. 1,600 yards, 16 touchdowns, and 5 picks, completing 63% of his passes. Rushing, Saquon Barkley, 416, averaging 5 a carry with 3 touchdowns as well. Keaton Mitchell getting a little bit in there. Stephon Diggs, 605 and 4. Dexter Stevenson, 340 and 2. Kayshon Boutte with 5 touchdowns on 200 yards. And Dawson Knox with 170 and 3. Blocking, Olu Fashanu is so bad. Everybody else is doing okay or good. Defensively, Drew Phillips is now leading us in tackles. Sacks, 4.5 from Paul and Abdul, 3.5 from Kayvon, 2 from Odafe, 1 from RJ Randall, and George Karlaftis. All right, so George is not doing very good for us. And then 2 picks from DJ Randall and a pick from Tyler Newman as well. So DJ Randall's pretty good at outside linebacker. 1 forced fumble from Cam Griffin. So defensively, obviously losing that edge rusher, Greg Rousseau, that really affected us, which sucks because he was the best piece on our team. But there's not much we can do right now. I'm just going to let's get to the playoffs and hope that we're doing pretty good. I think we should make the playoffs this year, so we'll see. All right, so this offseason, we go 6-11 again. I'm getting very disappointed with this because I'm spending a lot of time making this team better, and it's like they're just not performing. Jackson Dart, 3,800 yards, 32 touchdowns, 12 picks, completing 62% of his passes. So Jackson Dart's doing good. Saquon Barkley finished the year still averaging 920 yards on the ground and 5 touchdowns with 5 per carry. Stephon Diggs, 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns. Kayshon Boutte, 692 and 8. Dexter Stevenson, 665 and 6. Dawson Knox, 654 and 6. So a lot of good receiving, bad blocking. Defensively, 8 sacks for Paul and Abdul, 5.5 for Thibodeaux. Picks, 4 for Newman, 3 for DJ Randall, and then 2 for Quan Martin. So good thing I traded for him. And then tackling, we are led by DJ Randall. So, I mean, this team is getting good. I think it's our defense. Our defense needs to step up. Obviously, losing Greg Rousseau really impacted our defense because we are not getting nearly as many sacks. But I don't know if I'm going to go much farther than that. So let's just get right to our re-signings and hope that there's not any people there that are expensive because I'd like to build up this defense. All right, so Drew Phillips has superstar dev. So I don't am am I allowed to re-sign him and then trade him? I feel like I should be able to do that. No, I just won't sign him back. So we'll go for Deontay Banks to fill our corner spot. He does come back for 2 more years. I want Tyler Newman back. He does come back, so that's good. Jackson Powers Johnson. I mean, I want you back. You know, I'll give you 5 years. Not interested in a 5-year contract? Okay. Drew Troyes, I don't want you back. Donovan Jackson. Not really a lot of good people here. So we're just going to skip all that. Go right to free agency. Let all those guys walk because they don't really want to come back. They're expensive, and they're not doing that much to deserve all that money that they're asking for. So let's just check, see if we have any other superstars, and then we can start our free agents. See. All right, so despite the great year he had, Stephon Diggs goes down to normal dev. So we'll put him at receiver 3. Saquon loses his star. I expected him to go down a lot. I'm going to release him. We lose barely any money, but it's not worth just having him on the roster, just sitting there. And then defensively, still just a bunch of, man, this is making me mad. Odafe Owe, Jackson Dart is not being that great of a quarterback, so I think I'm actually done with him this time. So I'm just gonna find somebody that's interested. Of course, the Browns are interested, but have no money. Okay, so I didn't know quarterbacks had so much value, but 84 overall star dev Jackson Dart is getting traded to the New Orleans Saints for a second, a fourth, a young left tackle, and Jeffrey Bassa to be our new linebacker for our defense. So, I mean, now this team, not going to be super good. we're gonna start him probably at left guard. Besides that, we look good. Good receiver depth, good tight end still. We just need a running back, we need quarterback, and then defensively an outside linebacker. But defensively, we get Jeffrey Bossa, so our linebackers are good. We could get a okay, we'll just start Kayvon. Defensively, we're pretty good. Just try and get better startive players, I guess. Fix up our offensive line just a little. Never mind, I take that back. The darkest side of me, and I could ever change this animal I have become. Okay, so in free agency, there's a lot of good people, but they're not really any star dev guys. So let's find a couple guys that are star dev. Alright, so let's go and let's find 99 overall Jameer Gibbs, 93 Cooper DeJean, and 92 Lad McConkey. Tarheeb Still, Terrion Arnold. That just sucks because they're all superstar, X Factor, or superstar. So I'll go for Liam McNeil. He'd be a great interior guy. Not much else there, really. Alright, so this free agency, we're going for Lee McNeil, Cooper Beebe, Mike Green, and Blake Corum. There was no good start of running backs, so Lee McNeil doesn't sign. But we do get Beebe and Corum. So let's just go again. He still doesn't sign. I'm going to have to give him a better deal now because of the Patriots. So I'll up it. I'm not mad at that. And also, I'm going to add Nolan Smith to our list. More linebacker depth. He's still good, young, so we'll try. All right, so we get Nolan Smith too, but Ali McNeil still doesn't sign. So we're just going to go to right before the draft, and we'll see if he signs or not. I'm hoping he does, but let's just get to the draft because that's where we really need to build this team. All right, round 2. We're hoping to get a running back, so we'll probably take one of these guys. Yeah, so I looked at the other ones. They don't look too good, so we're going to go Bo Combs. Hope that he's solid. Rank 26, we get him at 36, 93 speed, hidden dev. Let's go. So that's a whole new backfield for us. And hopefully that's going to be a good backfield for us because it's going to be very fast, elusive guys. So we actually have another pick in the second round. So we can go and get another guy if we want. Maybe get a receiver. Okay, well, he looks terrible. I'll find a guy and I'll show you him in a second. All right, so in this round, we're just going to go Sheldon Byard, ranked 76, got him at 39. Hidden dev, 90 speed. Just saw safety. I wanted more safety depth, and I wanted to replace Quan Martin as well. So I know he's not great. Probably a bit of a reach, too. But we're just going to get to the third round and make our last pick. And then I think this team should be good with all the moves we've made. We've been risky. We've done a lot. So hopefully it'll work out for us. And we'll just finish it off taking a receiver, ranked 105, got him at 71, normal dev, not that big of a deal. But, I mean, that's a great draft for us. So let's see what overalls they are and hope that this can actually be the team to take us all the way because I really believe it can be. So that's my fault. I know you guys didn't get to see it, but we took Andy Smith with pick 7, who is a quarterback, 94 speed, and also has very good running ability and good passing abilities. So we'll hope that he can be really good for us, and I think that he will be. So that's our first round pick, is that quarterback. And then in the second round, we get Bo Combs, who is a 75 overall running back. So we fill our backfield, and our backfield should now be good. And then in the another second round pick, we get a free safety who we can replace Quan Martin with, and hopefully Byard is better than him. And then also we got another receiver just for depth, while the CPU picked up a 71 corner and a 72 running back. And they also got us a hidden dev running back. So now our backfield should even be even better with a good running back duo instead of just one guy. So with that duo, let's look at this roster real quick and fill it out and see what we're thinking. Okay, so honestly, we have a running back trio because I forgot we also signed Blake Corum too. Offensive line is just full star devs. We got our new quarterback. We got our new running back trio. Almost 4 people there that could be all decent. Defensively, also pretty solid. Didn't do a lot, but we're starting Kayvon Thibodeau and then Byard also. So that's also no starting normal devs on defense or offense, which is good, especially for not being able to have any superstars on this roster. So we're going to take this team and we'll go to next year, and then I'll just see you guys right at the midseason. All right, so with our rookie QB starting at the midseason, we are 2-5. I'm not mad, but that's not great. All right, so even though we are 2-5, Andy Smith with 1,800 yards, 10 touchdowns, 4 picks, and he's completing 69% of his passes. So it's definitely not his fault. Dang, I did it again. I forgot to start Bo Combs. Anyway, Blake Corum's averaging 3.7 a carry with 1 touchdown. I'll start Bo for the rest of the year. Stephon Diggs with 700 yards, 5 touchdowns, 400 for Kayshawn and 2 touchdowns, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns for Dexter Stevenson. Then Dawson Knox with 166 yards. Yeah, blocking is not good. At the midseason, Olu with 5, Darren Sloan with 4, Cooper Beebe with 4, and then 3 for Rich Jones and 1 for Ty Ferguson. So our only good player right now is Ty Ferguson on that O-line. Kayvon Thibodeau leads us with tackles. And then at the midseason, Aleem McNeil with 5 sacks, 4 for Abdul, 3 for Kayvon and Odafe Owe. And then 1 we get for George Karlaftis and Jaleel Buchanan. Picks, 1 from Paulson Adebo. So not great. I forgot to change the playbooks to fit our quarterback more, so I'm gonna do that right now. So we're probably not gonna make the playoffs this year. We might surprise us, but I will see you guys at the playoffs after I fix this, and then hopefully they're doing better. All right, so at the end of this season, we're 4-13. We're 86 overall team, and we are going 4-13. All right, so Andy Smith in his rookie year, 4,188 yards, 22 touchdowns, 19 picks, and almost 70% completion percentage. Rushing, Andy Smith with 526 and 6 touchdowns. We got to get Bo Combs ahead of Blake Corum, but I switched it to Baltimore because Andy Smith is very fast, and I'm going to keep it like that. And then receiving, Stephon Diggs, 1260 and 8. Kayshawn Booty, 965 and 2. And then Dexter Stevenson, 709 yards, 7 touchdowns. Then Jerry Aiken, our blocking tight end, has 585 and 3. Blocking, Olu Fashanu was bad. Darren Sloan was pretty bad. Rich Jones was pretty bad. Cooper Beebe was bad. Ty Ferguson was our only guy who was actually good on that O-line. 8.5 sacks for Lee McNeil, 6.5 for Abdul, 3.5 for Karlaftis, 3 for Kayvon and Odafe Owe, and then a couple for Jaleel Buchanan, Paul Cummings, Jeffrey Bassa, and a couple more. And then Jeffrey Bassa also with 2 picks leads the team, and then 1 pick for Nolan Smith, Tyler Newman, Paulson Adebo, and Evan Nix. All right, so we're gonna do this 1 year. I know this is like kind of a boring rebuild because I mean we're not actually like rebuilding and winning, but I mean y'all can try this. Like it's pretty hard, I'd say, to build a team without superstars because it's like that's what you build around, and those are the guys that like develop a lot more and faster and are the best guys. So I mean, when you don't have those, it's actually pretty hard. But let's see who we need to re-sign now. So we have 15 players to negotiate with. Hopefully nobody too important. George Karlaftis. I don't really want Fashanu back. I'll accept Paul for sure because he's been very good for us. Paulson Adebo, DJ Randall. All right, yeah. So some pretty important guys here. Nobody should be too expensive besides George. We'll just give him what he's asking for. All right, he accepts. Don't want Olu back. Adebo, I'll give you a 1-year deal. Good. DJ Randall. I'm just gonna go neutral really on all these guys and just hope that we get them back. Whether or not they're very good, they're solid, they're developing, their depth, whatever it is, I'd like to get them back. Nobody else is really worth coming back. So that's all I'll do there. And with our $60 million, let's go into free agency. And this year is going to be the last year. So I'm going to try my best to go all in right now. So we're going to spend all of our money. We're going to make sure that we have no superstars to trade away first. Wow. So we are going to have to trade away our quarterback that we just got. Andy Smith was very good on our team. You know, he had a great rookie year. I'm assuming he won Offensive Rookie of the Year, but we're going to have to trade him away. So let's find some other person's quarterback to trade for. All right, so we're sending Smith to the Seahawks for their quarterback Woodard, who is star dev, and a second and third round pick. And we're going to try and trade a good amount of our picks to go all in this year. But first, let's check out free agency. And also, I'm hoping that this guy's good. All right, so a lot of X factors and stuff here, but not many. I know we just traded for Walt Woodard, but I mean, you can't tell me. You can't tell me that I shouldn't get Bo Nix instead, because we're trying to be as good as we can. So obviously we want him. Could go for Kelvin Banks. I'll go for Kelvin Banks. I know he's normal, but he's a good overall. All right, so we're going to go for Bo Nix and Kelvin Banks. And we get Kelvin Banks. We do not get Bo Nix. He goes to the Cardinals. That really sucks because we were ahead by a good amount too. Okay. So that just means we have to build around the guy that we just traded for. You know what? Let's keep this money and let's try and trade away some picks and let's try and go that route because there's nobody really good in free agency. And I think we should have pick one, I believe. Okay, I forgot to continue the recording, but we traded pick 3 for Javon Bullard and a 6th round pick. So now our defense is very stacked and should be very good, but we're also going to try and trade for a left tackle with our second and or third, or both of our seconds. So I'll see what I can do with that. Okay, and we are also trading our second, and third for Paris Johnson and a 5th. So that fixes our offensive line. That's all of our defense. And now we can go into this draft and just. Actually, I don't think we are going to go into this draft because we don't have many picks anyway. So I'm just going to sim this draft and we're just going to get right into next season. And we're going to hope that this team can go far because this is the best chance we have right now. I mean, yeah, that defense is stacked. It's like the best you could get without people turning into superstars. And then offensively, it's a downgrade at quarterback. But you know, it sucks that the other guy got superstar for this specific occasion. But I mean, we just have to go with it. So I'm just gonna sim to next season, and we're gonna hope that this team can really go far. All right. Well, this is going to be our last year of this rebuild. So instead of going to the midseason and checking everything out, we are just going to go and sim straight to the playoffs and hope that we can make it there. Comment down below what you would want to see next, any edits, I like making those, or any other rebuild ideas or challenge ideas. I want to do more than just rebuild, so, you know, if there's anything y'all want to see, just let me know. Okay, so yeah, to end this, we end up winning only 4 games and lose 13. So we'll just check the stats out, but that's really going to be it. Walt Woodard was very bad. 3,400 yards, 18 touchdowns to 26 picks. Okay, I started Bo Combs, but that's fine. Decent receiving. Very bad blocking. Not many sacks. Alright, so yeah. Not a great rebuild, but I'll see you in the next video. Appreciate y'all for watching. Peace.